Welcome to Everyday English Podcast, a beginner-friendly podcast for improving English skills with simple English. Today, we have an exciting topic to discuss.
That's right. We're diving into the one mistake holding you back. It's all about identifying and overcoming personal mistakes that can really hinder our success.
Exactly. And we have a special guest today, John Brown, who is an experienced career coach and author. He'll help us understand why recognizing these mistakes is so important.
Yeah, it's fascinating how sometimes we don't even realize what's holding us back. John will share his insights on that.
He'll also talk about a client he worked with who struggled to identify their core issue. It's a common problem, feeling stuck without knowing why.
Right. And he'll discuss signs of hidden mistakes. Like, do you ever feel like you're just putting out fires instead of building something solid?
Oh, absolutely. It's so easy to get caught up in that cycle. And I think many listeners can relate to that feeling of stagnation.
For sure. And then, John will introduce some neuroscience insights. You know, why we often avoid facing our mistakes.
Yes. It's interesting how our brains protect us, like through confirmation bias. It makes us overlook our flaws.
Exactly. He'll provide practical tools to help us start grappling with those feelings. I love that he encourages audience participation too.
Oh, definitely. Listeners will get to share their recent avoidance behaviors. That's a great way to connect.
And then, in the next segment, John will talk about the role of self-disclosure. Opening up about mistakes can lead to more support and growth.
That's such an important point. Being vulnerable can really strengthen our relationships.
Right. And he has some amazing success stories to share. It's all about building confidence in admitting our mistakes.
And after that, he'll break down actionable steps to overcome these mistakes. I can't wait to hear those.
Yes. He'll guide us through stages like acknowledging the mistake and owning it fully.
That's crucial. Understanding why it happened is also key.
Absolutely. And developing a plan to fix it or learn from it is vital too.
So, stay tuned, everyone. We'll explore how to tackle these mistakes together.
Yes. It's going to be a great discussion. Let's dive in.
So, let's dive deeper into those actionable steps John will discuss. The first one is acknowledging the mistake, right?
Yeah. Acknowledging it is so important. It's like, facing the music. You can't fix what you don't admit exists.
Exactly. And owning it fully, without blaming others, is a big part of that. It can be tough, though, can't it?
Oh, totally. I mean, it's easy to point fingers. But when we take responsibility, it empowers us to change.
Right. It's like saying, okay, I messed up, and that's okay. It's part of being human.
Yes. And understanding why it happened is crucial too. It helps us learn and avoid repeating the same mistake.
That's such a great point. When we dig into the reasons behind our actions, we can uncover patterns.
Exactly. It's like peeling an onion. You get to the core of the issue, layer by layer.
And sometimes, those layers can be surprising. We might find fears or beliefs that we didn't even realize were influencing us.
Yeah, and once we understand those, we can start to change them. It's all about growth.
Absolutely. And I think that's what makes this process so rewarding. It's not just about fixing mistakes, but about becoming better.
For sure. And John will probably emphasize that too. It's a journey, not a destination.
Right. And each step we take, even the missteps, helps us move forward. That's a powerful mindset.
Definitely. So, listeners, remember, acknowledging and owning your mistakes is the first step towards growth.
And understanding why they happened will give you the tools to change your path. It's all connected.
Exactly. Let's keep that in mind as we move forward in our discussion.
Let's talk about the different types of mistakes we might encounter. For instance, there are repetitive errors that we keep making, right?
Yeah. Those can be really frustrating. It's like we're stuck in a loop. But recognizing them is the first step to breaking free.
Exactly. And then there are fear-based mistakes, where we avoid taking action because we're scared of failing.
Oh, definitely. Fear can be paralyzing. But John would probably suggest facing that fear head-on. Like, what's the worst that could happen?
Right. And once we confront that fear, we can start to see it for what it really is, just a barrier we can overcome.
Exactly. And then there are those mistakes that stem from a lack of knowledge or experience. You know, when we dive into something without really understanding it.
Oh, that's a good point. Learning from those mistakes is crucial. We can seek out resources or mentors to help us grow.
Yes. And John will share real-life examples of clients who transformed their lives by confronting these personal mistakes.
That's inspiring. Hearing how others have navigated their challenges can really motivate us.
Totally. And I think the audience will appreciate the interactive Q&A segment too. It's a chance for them to share their experiences.
Absolutely. It's so important to create a space where listeners can discuss their own mistakes. It makes it feel less isolating.
And John will encourage them to ask questions about overcoming those personal mistakes. That's such a valuable part of the conversation.
Yes. And as we wrap up, John will recap the key takeaways. Understanding our hidden mistakes is really the first step toward growth.
And he'll recommend books and online resources for further learning. That's so helpful.
Definitely. It's like giving listeners a toolkit for their journey. They can continue exploring on their own.
And I love that he encourages them to share their progress or seek professional help if they need it.
That's so important. Sometimes, reaching out can make all the difference.
Right. And as we conclude, John will leave us with a final thought on embracing personal growth. That's a powerful message.
Absolutely. And we'll thank John and our audience for joining us today.
And let's tease the upcoming episodes too. There's so much more to explore.
Yes. Thank you all for tuning in. We hope you found this discussion helpful.
And remember, every mistake is a stepping stone toward growth. Goodbye, everyone.